From Mamma Mia, welcome to The Spill, your daily pop culture fix. I'm Laura Brodnick.
And I'm Em Burnham.
And today we have a show that we have been waiting months to bring you because it is our brutally honest review of With Love, Meghan on Netflix, Part 2. Part 2.
Part 2.
I almost did like the little
Part
French.
deux.
I thought I was in season 6, Sex and the City.
We are not.
Where I wish
unfortunately.
I was there.
We also did a brutally honest review of season 1. So if you haven't listened to that, we will link it in our show notes because I think that was one of my favorite brutally honest reviews because I was a bit delirious because I remember watching all 8 episodes back to back. I felt like the episodes in season 1 were a bit longer, like they were more around the 40-minute mark. And I just came into the office after watching the last episode going, I'm ready. I'm ready to roll.
You were shell-shocked and determined.
Shell-shocked and determined.
So this is usually the part of the show where when we do a brutally honest review, which are episodes that we talk about the biggest TV shows and movies that have been released. And normally this is the part of the show where I'd say, if you haven't watched it all, go and watch it because we're going to go deep on spoilers. However, there are no spoilers with this. If you haven't watched it, that's fine.
Imagine if they had like a full plot twist.
Well, that's what I thought when you said this morning I hadn't watched the last 15 minutes, the last episode. I was like, imagine if I was like, oh my God, things go off the rails. They didn't.
They didn't. It's a very much a home, lifestyle, warm, friendly. It's like a show you put on in the background while you do something else.
I mean, to an extent, it wouldn't be my choice of a background show. But yes, season 1 came out a few months ago. And as soon as it finished, Meghan Markle herself let us know. I know she's Meghan Sussex now, but for old time's sakes, I'll call her Meghan Markle.
God, Mindy Kaling.
Yeah.
We'll be like, hey, no one call her Meghan Markle. Don't make my mistake.
Mindy Kaling's not watching this season because she's like, I can't revisit the trauma of sitting in that hothouse and making a tea party and then being publicly called out on the internet for months on end.
I was actually thinking about that episode in particular while watching this season 2. Sorry to segue. But like this season is, I feel like, way more educational in the way that she's teaching like her friends to do things. And it felt like that episode of Mindy Kaling was more like, here's something you can do with your kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, then why is Mindy there? Like, bring the kids in.
Because Mindy was like, I pay people to do this. I don't do it myself because I'm super busy and I run a huge production company.
Like every other episode, like it's like these adults learning things that they could do as adults. And for Mindy, it was just like, here's something you can do for your kids.
She was like, no, thanks. Which is interesting because they did. That's what Meghan Markle came out and said after the season 1 aired, is that they had filmed it all in one go.
Yes.
So season 2 was locked and loaded.
Yep. So there's no learnings, no feedback.
There was no time to go back and reshuffle things and redo things. What they filmed is what they had. So you and I have watched. I watched all in one night. I think you watched it across 2 nights.
I did 4 episodes last night and 4 episodes this morning.
That's a healthy way to do it. I can't even describe the state I was in by the time I did 8 hours in one night after working a full day in this office of Meghan Markle's new show. But what was your experience? Take me through your thought journey of watching it. What was your experience like?
So I had half a bottle of wine.
Oh my God, I did too.
Oh my God.
You can't watch that sober.
You
No offense.
can't
Of
watch
course
it
you can if
sober.
you're not drinking, but like we couldn't watch it sober.
We physically could not. So I had half a bottle of wine. We also have a massive work project coming up. So I was in that mindset of like working on that project while also trying to watch and enjoy With Love, Meghan. I have to pause there.
Yeah. Well, there is a comma.
There is a comma, so you have to pause. And so I had half a bottle of wine. And the first 2.5 episodes, I was like, you know what? I think this might be my favorite show of the year.
Really?
I loved it so much.
In the first episode?
Correct.
Okay. Well, it is a
came full circle.
lovely kind of...
I was really into it. I had so much fun. And then like I started to sober up and I was like, oh, this is just the exact same thing that we watched.
Just sober up.
This is the exact same thing we watched last season.
Yeah.
But because I knew that they filmed it back to back and it was like this big multi-million-dollar deal that they had with Netflix. That's the reason she had to do this show in the first place. I went in being a bit more kinder towards what I was going to experience. So because I knew it wasn't going to be different from season 1. It was literally going to be the same thing. So I went in and I feel like my outtake from this season is much more, she's just doing what she wants to do. I'm going to leave her alone.
Well, that's why I think a lot of people hate watched it. Well, actually, as we know, a lot of people didn't watch it at all because it was number 300 on Netflix. In saying that, though, it had over 5 million views. It's just that Netflix numbers are so huge. On network television, that would be like the biggest show of the year. So it's not that people didn't watch it. It's just that it didn't crack the Netflix like top 30.
I want to know like all the shows that like cracked the top 30 that didn't get the multi-million-dollar deal. They're going, hey, where's our money?
Well, that's the thing too, is like there's been this big song and dance about Meghan and Harry having this $100 million deal with Netflix, and the fact that it expires in September of this year. So it's expired now and they won't be renewing it. And I think that's been painted as a bit of a like Meghan and Harry are failures. Netflix doesn't want anything to do with them. But it's more so that Netflix is cutting all of those big long-term content deals and doing project by project, which a lot of media companies are doing at the moment, because the Obamas also had their deal ended.
That's true, yeah.
And that's not making headlines, but they're just like, we're not in the business of now giving people a huge lump sum of cash and just seeing what they make and greenlighting projects. It's like, you bring us a project we want, we're going to buy it. So Meghan and Harry are still working with Netflix.
Right, okay.
I mean, I don't know why I've become their defender, but I'm a defender of truth, actually.
Someone needs to be.
Yeah.
Before we get into it, I do want to point out the biggest issue when it comes to filming back-to-back. The worst thing that can happen when you're filming a show back-to-back is if your dog dies.
Oh, no, I know.
Guy, the beagle.
But it's good because otherwise...
And then we saw a little bit of Mamma Mia.
Yeah.
Oh my God, because I grew up with beagles, and when I saw Guy there, knowing that Guy's not with us anymore, and he's still such a main character in this series.
But that's good. They can't edit him out. That's his final like role, his final big role.
And then like Chrissy Teigen sees him, and she's like, "Who's this?" And Megan's like, "It's Guy." And Chrissy's like, "I love how he's just chilling." And Megan's like, "Yeah, he's an old man." And I was like, Chrissy, you have no idea what's about to hit you.
You don't know what's going to happen.
You don't know what's going to happen.
But did you see that the day that With Love Meghan season 2 came out, Meghan Markle shared on her Instagram story. So she did this video of her walking into her beautiful kitchen, like her real life kitchen, because obviously she doesn't film there. And little Lilibet is there and she runs past in her pajamas. And she said that Prince Harry had given her this gift. And it's a huge, huge blown up black and white photo of her and Guy. So he must have known, Prince Harry H, as she calls him, must have known that it would be a really traumatic day because the show was coming out and Guy's in it and he passed away. So he gifted her this big black and white portrait of Guy to be like, he's still here.
Oh my God. It was just really, really sad. It was like, that was my plot twist in the show.
Was it? Okay.
The first scene of Guy, I was like, it's Guy.
No, I forgot.
He's here. I forgot.
The pain hit you afresh.
Yes. So that's because they filmed back to back. So Guy's in the whole thing, and then he passed away shortly after.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that, but that's so true. So this new series, so With Love Meghan Part 2, follows a similar kind of flow to the first series, which is some celebrity guests and some friends of Meghan Markle and some people she's never met come in and out of this house that they've rented, which people are really upset about. But of course they rented a house. Yeah. What are they going to do? Put up a TV set for weeks in her own home where her children are?
Yeah.
And they're just running around. And she actually never said, I loved how people thought they were being detectives. They're like, I've discovered it's not her real house. And I was like, I do think that wasn't being hidden.
No. I mean, I did write an article about it.
Okay. You discovered it.
I discovered. And I was very upset.
I think it was fun to point out, but I just don't think it was the big kind of like, we've got you moment.
No, it was more funny in the way that the whole show is about being a hostess and creating a home and building your home, and she's like opening these drawers and going in the pantry as if she lives there when she definitely doesn't.
She definitely doesn't. That's so true. But yes, but I think in the second season we have moved on.
We have moved on. At least it's the same house as the first season.
Well, yeah,
so
they rented. No, exactly. So it's the same house. So guests come in and out, and she either cooks with them, prepares things with them, or teaches them little home craft tricks.
Or she'll have like a jump cut where she does something before they get there.
Yeah,
and she's in like a different outfit on a different day.
Yeah,
and she's
those moments were huge.
Scraping the honey for the bees. Like, oh my God, the scarves, making the scarves from scratch.
That was the point where, and we're not going to go in order here, mostly because I feel like most of you guys haven't watched this show, so you won't be like, hey, that happened in episode 5. But also
there's like no spoilers, so each episode stands
But also
alone.
The whole thing is like a fever dream. I went through so many emotions watching this. At first I was like, I poured my wine. I'm like, okay, here we go. Oh, she is just so beautiful and comforting to watch on TV is a big thing. So she came on TV and I was like, here we go. This is fun. And then I went through so many emotions. I went through like sadness for her. Then I went through liking her. Then I was completely enraged at one moment, which we'll get to. And then I went back through acceptance. And then I went like career plotting for her in my head of where she should like go next with her life and what she could do.
Yeah, whose house actually infiltrate.
And then at the end, I felt like kind of joy for her. So I went through the gambit of emotions over 8 hours. Like, seriously.
I want to know what made you rage, but first. I want to talk about Chrissy Teigen.
Yes.
Okay, so this was the second episode. Chrissy Teigen comes over. John Legend is also over.
He escorts Chrissy Teigen.
Which was, I guess, the one jump scare that we had because he wasn't meant to be there. Even Meghan was like, I didn't know you were here. H isn't here.
Yeah.
It was a weird moment of going like, why are you here if my husband's not here?
And he does, in that moment, John Legend, internationally renowned best-selling artist John Legend, does look like a handbag man. Like he's just been kind of brought and dropped off and he doesn't know what to do. He's looking at the cameras. He doesn't know if he's being filmed or not. He's very nervous.
He's very, very nervous. So Meghan and Chrissy are like cooking.
Yeah.
This is something that I feel like Chrissy Teigen should not have done.
Really?
Yeah.
Because the thing about Chrissy Teigen is like this is what she was known for a really long time is that she would do those cooking videos at home with her and her mum, and she was like building this whole franchise around that, and she would film all day on Instagram these moments of her life and her kitchen and cooking tips, and then that whole thing blew up with her bullying Courtney Stodden and her being like having to sort of step away from that brand that she had built with Kris Jenner and step away from what she was doing, and she doesn't post she's got 4 kids now. She had like only one or two at the time.
She's got 4 kids and 4 dogs.
Yeah,
and
she's
2
a busy
cats.
lady. But I think also like that whole relatable I'm in my kitchen thing kind of died when that scandal happened.
Okay, that's good to know because I knew that she had a lot of cookbooks that everyone became obsessed with.
Yeah, she's authored a lot of cookbooks.
But then it came to measuring ingredients, and she had to put 300 grams of flour into a cup.
Yeah.
And she kind of like did like a bit of a sprinkle, like a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
And then she was like, I don't know how much 300 grams is. And you can even see like Meghan, like immediately her face was like, she thought she was joking. She was like, oh, and then she immediately changed her face. She was like, oh, it's a bit more.
Yeah, it's like quite a bit more.
I was like, I thought this woman was like a chef.
No, she is a chef. Again, stop making me defend these women, but cooking and baking are 2 very different things. And baking's a very hard skill, a different skill. It's more, and Meghan says this in one of her episodes.
Yes, cooking is art, baking is science.
Yes. And I really feel that in my bones
because Teigen is just not good at science.
That is, yeah, exactly. And also, who amongst us is? That's why when I tried to teach you to cook in the past, I've said to you,
as that is a fair point because I don't do either.
Yeah, you don't do either. So that's why I can speak confidently.
I was watching the TV with my wine and my Uber Eats going, ha ha.
Meanwhile, you can't even turn your oven on.
Meanwhile, I don't own a measuring cup or flour.
You don't own flour? Okay.
Why would I need flour?
Because you can put it over. Okay, we can't. The backstory here is I've been trying to teach Emily to cook for years. More than that, I've been trying to teach you how to grocery shop and then cook the basic items you buy. And we haven't got there. And it's fine. You're perfect. You're good at other things.
That's really kind. Thank you so much.
But when she said that, like, I don't know the measurements and stuff, I felt that in my bones because I'm a really good cook, but I can't bake. It's 2 different sides of the brain.
It's 2 different sides. So maybe I'll learn baking and then we can teach each other.
I mean, I feel like that's a really empty threat, but sure.
We're about to spend a lot of time together, so I feel like we have opportunities.
What are you going to be baking on all the plane trips we're about to take?
Just like, do you guys have an oven here? Yeah. Can I use a plain oven?
Or we go down to the hotel kitchen and be like, can I make some muffins?
Make some muffins for my colleagues. Okay. Then she does this thing where like a lot of it is about cooking and being in the kitchen. And a lot of the guests she had over for this season in particular were like cooks, right?
Yes.
Like including like Tan France and like she had like chefs on. She had a few chefs on. Jay Shetty and his wife Radhi, like he doesn't cook and they said that, but she does. So a lot of her guests know how to work a kitchen, but then she makes them do like an arts and crafts.
It's the arts and crafts moments
and
where
even the guest face are a bit like, okay.
This is they're just a few times they look at the camera like, is this really happening? Because a few of the
so Jay Shetty, who interviews billionaires on his podcast and CEOs, is like making soap.
And he looked so confused. And like, he looked scared. And I would be scared too because, again, soap making, I'm assuming like baking, measurements and science. And this man was like, I'm a podcast host. I can give you an inspirational pep talk. I can't make soap. And why would I want to do that? Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny. And obviously they're there for the show so no one can say no. But with Chrissy, they had to make
flower jewelry,
which I don't think we saw the end product of.
Oh no, you saw at the end. See, you were probably deep in the wine by now. You were pouring another glass.
Did you see it? Did it look good?
Yeah. After Chrissy leaves because they've got a set for 24 hours.
I did
information I didn't know.
I did
or need to know
that Chrissy's looked better than Meghan's when they were doing the flower pressing.
Potentially, yeah. She had an eye for it. Were they doing the flower pressing? The whole Chrissy Teigen episode was so funny because she comes in, she's so excited. John Legend looks afraid. Then John Legend leaves.
Yeah.
And hours and hours
Allegedly
and hours pass.
leaves.
Allegedly. And hours pass because these women, they cook, they bake, they chat, they decorate. Then they go and make flower jewelry. And then later on, they're back in the kitchen. And Chrissy Teigen has all of her kids, which I didn't know, all of her kids' birthdays tattooed on her arm.
Because she forgets them.
Can't remember.
There's a million of them.
Well, it's Luna, Mile, Esty, and Ren. So there's all, and she can't. But then she looks at her arm, and her plan has backfired because she can't read some of the dates.
Yeah,
in
her
the tattoo.
tattoo's a bit smudgy,
and which I feel like who did that for her? Surely, like a proper tattoo artist did Chrissy Teigen's arm.
Yeah, surely.
And then also she can't remember which birthday is assigned to which child. So at one stage, this is hours after they've arrived, she panics and she goes, "John!" And John Legend pokes his head out of some little room where he's obviously just been sitting with his hands folded the whole time. And I was like, has that man been here the whole time?
What's he been doing, writing songs?
But he's sitting in the little, like in the pantry.
He's working the camera. He's like, Meghan, I know you fired all your stuff. Let me get behind this camera.
Let me do it. It's so funny. But also when they're out making the flower jewelry, Meghan Markle's describing all the different flowers and things. And then she holds up one flower to Chrissy Teigen, and Chrissy Teigen mistakes that flower for the name of one of Meghan Markle's children.
Yeah.
So she thinks her child's name's Holsworth.
This whole episode felt like a fever dream.
Yeah.
Firstly, because I'm like, if anything, you guys should know each other the most because you've been on Deal or No Deal together.
Oh, yeah. I love them talking about that.
Like they were talking. Yeah, that was. Anytime she talks about her work, I'm like, keep going, keep going.
Yeah, that's what people want to see. And that's
the
why
Polaroid photos of like camping and stuff.
Every time a Polaroid photo came up of like behind the scenes of their wedding or their life, like that's when I leaned in. And that's also why I think people find this show so disappointing is that they tune in because they think they're going to get all these details about Meghan Markle. But it's really just her making soap.
Literally.
And there's little glimmers.
You can like, she always like teases where she was like talking about, H and I went on our third date camping.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, tell me more. And then she's like, back to my capsule wardrobe. I'm like, no!
Tell us about the camping. Well, I actually loved how she brought that up, but I wanted more of it because that was their third date, which if you've read Prince Harry's book, he talks about it a lot in there, is that on their third date, Spare, out now.
I'm ready for Spare Part 2. Maybe I'll talk about their fourth date.
I hope so. I would just read about their dates, honestly.
Yes.
They're so funny.
I need someone who like is on YouTube to take both seasons of With Love Meghan and then just put all the juicy bits together. Like anytime she talks about Harry, all the Polaroid photos, like collages that she posted in season 1. I just want all of that in one big like 30-minute block.
Well, that's why the documentary about Harry and Meghan is still the most watched like debut for a documentary on Netflix of all time. Like it broke all these records because people just want to see their life, which is what I would watch the shit out of too. But instead I'm just watching her making soap.
Instead we just know how to cure a fish.
Yeah, I still don't know. I was not following that.
Did you see that crazy microwave she had? The one that like pulls out?
Wow, really?
When they were baking together.
I must have been pouring my wine at that moment.
No, when she was doing like a baking thing, she has like, well, it's obviously not her house, but like she's obviously really into baking because instead of like melting butter in the normal microwave, she has this pull-out drawer and she just puts everything in the drawer, closes it, and then it does something.
Oh,
and
is
she
that
pulls
what that
out.
was?
Yeah, and it's all melted and warm.
Oh my God, she has a microwave just for melting butter?
I didn't know those things existed.
Fancy.
Like that's how poor we are compared. Like I was like, what is this contraption?
My mind blanked. I saw her pull a drawer out and it had cooked, but I was like, something in my mind was like, we can't even.
It was like a drawer microwave, and I even tried to Google it, and even my Google wouldn't give me the results because it just knew I couldn't afford such
Your
luxuries.
Google's like, girl, no, you're way too poor for this.
Maybe just work your already existing oven first.
I know. I'm going to go home to my $50 Kmart microwave and be
It's
like, where's the butter tray?
It's like these little things that like they insert in the show that's the lens that I feel like that she hasn't been able to work out of.
Yeah.
Is like there are so many little things that are for the ultra rich that I'm like fixated on because I've never seen something like that in my life. And for them it's just like and then we have this thing. And I remember this from season 1 when she was talking about her outfit and she was like, and I have like these lime pants and a Zara shirt, so I like to do a bit of high and low. And I'm like, which one's the low?
Yeah. You're like, they're actually both high for
That's
me.
really high for me.
I think the Zara was meant to be the low, but the Zara was probably a couple $100. You're like, that's a splurge for
I
me.
was like, Zara alone?
I feel like in this season, she's leaning a bit more into being a little bit more decadent. Although every so often she does say, like, I buy this fancy product. You could buy something similar for cheaper on the internet. I was like, okay, no further details.
You guys have the internet, right?
Yeah, you can Google cheap candles. And I was like, I can, Megan, I can. Thank you for
so
that.
much.
Thank you for telling me to
Queen.
Google. But yeah, she's given only a couple of interviews around this release. And in one interview, I did hear her say that she has come to the point now where she's like, no matter what I wear, what I say, what I do, people are going to find fault with me. And I just can't care about that.
Which is so true.
So true. No matter what she does.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's really believes that, because in my heart I would be like, but I also don't want people to hate me. But
No.
there's literally nothing she can do.
She can't do anything, which is why she's leaning so hard into this. And which is also why I think they were confident in filming the back-to-back, because she's like, no matter how much hate I got from season 1, like there's literally no point.
Yeah.
Like you can't apply everything.
Yeah, I do think she comes across well in it. My only kind of thought is like,
She's very likable.
She is so likable. I both want to hang out with her all the time, and I'm scared of her. I'm scared of her in a way that my life doesn't match up to hers, because I'm so envious of when those guests arrive and she's got the gifts and she's so inviting and kind and she's so warm and she's made them all a special drink and then she makes them a special food and then she really looks in people's eyes and asks them and she seems really fascinated by what they say. Like, I just think she would be a joy to be around. But I also feel like she would just judge me without meaning to. She'd be like, oh, you had a Coke. Is it a birthday party? Like, do you know that's going to kill you, right? Or when she was like, so you just go into when she was packing her bag to go on that trip with her friend, and she was like, so you just go and take these like special sheets that you have in the laundry and you fold them up in your own pillowcase and you put them through your bag, just the stuff you already have at home. And I'm like, I don't have perfumed laundry sheets. Do you?
Someone gave me one for my birthday.
A perfumed laundry sheet.
But
she
fabric
had a
softener sheet.
Yeah, but she has a pack of them.
Yeah, they're crazy. And like even
And,
like the
like-
little cases she puts like her shoes in.
Yeah.
Like that's what I mean. She does like little things that in
Yeah.
her head is like so normal and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
mundane. And for me, I'm like, rewind. What was that shoe
Yeah.
case? What was in that?
Where did you get those things from? I don't have any powdered sheets in my laundry.
No.
I just use laundry
And
detergent.
the
that's
silk
it.
pillowcase?
Yeah, well, I have that.
You
and
have
I do,
that?
And I do
Where'd you
take my
get
own
one from?
pillowcase.
They're expensive.
I take my own pillowcase with me. When we're about to do all our trips coming up, you'll see me with my little pillowcase.
No way.
Yeah, I'm not putting my head on a pillowcase from a hotel.
Why?
Because other people have put their heads there.
But they wash them.
Meghan Markle and I know. Do you know that the one
How about I take the hotel pillowcases and then make them my own pillowcase?
Okay, that's straight up theft. There was one moment where I related to Meghan Markle so hard, I did start to think that we could be the same person.
Whoa.
And it wasn't when she was cooking or making anything fancy or anything like that, because I just don't have that natural hostess element in me. Actually, there were two moments.
You do
One-
though. You're a hostess.
To a point. I like to host myself.
Yeah.
I do it in my living room with my flowers and candles
Yeah.
and my little snacks and my wine. And I like
You
when she-
like making things look nice,
I
which is what
do.
she likes.
Yes, when she put the raspberry sorbet with the champagne in it and had
Yeah.
that, I was like, I do that at home sometimes.
Whereas I would have just had the champagne by itself and then eaten the raspberries separately.
Okay, no, you've got to. I will make that for you one day. It's really good.
nice. Okay,
But
thank
I've
you.
got those same glasses too.
Oh my
It's all in
God.
how you present it. That's true. But there was two moments. One in the first episode where one of the women, I can't even think of her name, said to Meghan Markle, "Oh, I don't really like flowers," and it's the only time I've seen like just disgust in Meghan Markle's face.
Oh,
Do you remember that?
It was the lady who owns Milk Bar.
Yeah.
And she's like a well-renowned like pastry dessert
Yeah, yeah.
chef. And yeah, she was like, because this is why, Megan, you have two massive.
But also, who doesn't like flowers?
But like, you can't bring a massive chef, put them in the kitchen, and be like, now we're gonna go do flower arrangement.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna teach you.
and flower arranging's hard. It's not as
Especially
easy
with
as it
like
looks.
chefs, because I'm so sorry to chefs out there.
Okay.
But I do have a bone to pick with you.
Okay, Jesus. You're on your
Chefs-
own with this one. I love chefs.
The chefs I know are so particular in
Yes.
being perfect that when you put them into an environment where they can't be perfect and they have to learn in front of other people, they freak out.
Yeah.
These are the chefs I know, the chefs I've experienced.
No, I would say that's a true thing, because it is you have to be perfect in doing it. You
Yeah.
can't just be like, oh, this is fine, because you're sending food, especially these like very
Exactly.
top tier Michelin star kind of chefs that she's
yes,
working with.
and the chefs she brought on were very competitive.
Yeah.
And
Well, of
they
course.
wanted
'cause
to
this
win
is-
the flower arrangement contest.
And then this woman's like, I don't really like flowers. You can just see it's the one time Meghan Markle's mask kind of fell and she was like, what? And so I really related
I
to
mean,
her
from
there.
her arrangement, I could tell she didn't like flowers.
Yeah.
It was just like a bunch of weeds.
Yeah. She was like, oh, this is fine. And
Megan had all these flowers displayed and she's like picking out grass from the garden.
I know. And then at one stage when she was cooking, she's like, oh, I did just go outside and redo my flower arrangement.
Yeah.
Like Meghan Markle
Hers did look
couldn't-
the best.
Yeah, of course. She's really good
She
at that.
definitely practiced that like for days beforehand.
So that was the one time I related to her. The other time is when she was saying that when she's really nervous, especially when she was a working actress and auditioning, she always used to get like a big red stress neck, like her whole neck would turn
she said she got hives.
red and
yeah.
blotchy. And so she had to go to every event in a turtleneck. And if you look at all my interviews, every big interview I do, I'm wearing a really high neck because I also get a splotchy neck. My friends call it a hickey neck. Like my whole neck just breaks out in like
oh my
hickeys.
God. I hope she
when
starts
I'm
calling it a
nervous.
hickey neck.
I know.
She's
I should
definitely gonna
message her and be
listen to
like, hey girl, I get you.
And I remember that because it was so funny. Like, I feel like it's one of those moments where you want to be friends with someone so badly that you just agree with everything they say. And I feel like that's Chrissy to Meghan. Yeah. Meghan's like, I get a huge rash on my neck. And Chrissy's like, yeah, same.
I was like, I don't know, girl, your neck looks pretty good right now.
was
I'm
like,
not seeing
same?
any splotches.
It's like, I'm really tired. Yeah, same. I'm also really tired.
So that's when I loved her. Now to when I got mad at her.
Oh, God.
Because it was when it was Tan from Queer Eye. And they were doing the cooking and everything,
I
which is really
liked
cute.
that episode.
No, I liked it too. And my favorite point when he kind of looked at her when she was doing the last bits of the cooking, and he was like, "What are those things that you're sprinkling on there?" And she's like, "Oh, dried flowers. I love them." And she's like, just putting handfuls of dried flowers on anything in that kitchen that's around just gets dried flowers flown in it.
Yeah,
And he's like,
flower
"That is
sprinkles.
the gayest shit I've ever seen." But it was when they were doing their arts and crafts. So she was like, let's do aprons for your 2 kids.
Oh,
And
I know where you're going with this.
she did, like, she went from doing this beautiful silk screening on scarves that looked so beautiful and artistic. And I was like, oh my God, I could never. Like, and I was thinking to myself, she's really clever. She really knows what she's doing. Sometimes when you see her do her calligraphy and stuff, you're like, this woman has proper skills that I could never imagine having. And then she went from that. She went from such a high to such a low because then she got out these aprons and she took a big chunk of celery, cut the top off it, took the celery head, dunked it in some paint, and then put it on the apron, and then looked at Tan France from Queer Eye, who's like known for like being able to create incredible things, and goes,
and he's like a fashion icon.
Yeah.
He knows everything about everything with fashion.
Yeah. And then she like dunks the painted celery, pulls it off, and it leaves a big clump of paint, and she looks at him and goes, see what we can create? And I was like, what? And then they were getting other vegetables, and he's like, I'm going to try it with a lime, and gets the lime and the paint and puts it. And I was like, sir, this is what I did in kindergarten. And even when I was in kindergarten, I looked down and was like, this is beneath me.
Aww.
Like taking fruit and vegetables and putting it on.
Also, fruit and vegetables are quite expensive. When she started cutting that celery, I was like, oh, I wonder what they're going to cook in here.
Yeah.
And then I see her dunking the vegetables in paint, and I was like, oh no.
You're like, I hope you wash that off and ate it afterwards.
In
this economy?
And also, the aprons looked horrible.
I was going to say they look fine, but you're right. They did look horrible.
They look disgusting.
You know what I thought was the worst thing is that he was talking, he's got these 2 young kids, and he says that he has to go away for work a lot of the time, and his kids get really upset, and when they come back, he is not seen as like, they go to his husband more. So his kids get really upset when he's away for work. And then Meghan kind of insinuates that like, oh, well, you're away now filming this, like this is work, but you get to take these aprons back. And I was like, those aprons are so ugly. They are not worth his kids loving him less.
I know Tan's gonna like be burning them on the way back across the
He
highway.
drove out of Santa Monica and like threw them out the window, and they flew over a cliff. 'Cause I was like, this man is literally like,
even the fish in the water, like,
away from me,
ew.
gross.
Is that a celery?
He's literally like, oh, when I leave my kids, they love me less. And she was like, well, these aprons will make up for it. No.
Save the day, Meghan.
This is why I felt like a little bit protective of Meghan Markle as I was watching this show, is that she comes across lovely, and then she also comes across insane. And I think the insane part comes from the editing in a way, because do you remember the part where they were making those little cracker cheese things and they pulled them out of the oven, and then she was like, do you guys want some? And the camera panned around and there was about 15 people in the room. So many people with cameras, so many producers. And they obviously do show her talking back and forth to the camera people throughout the show. Like they break that fourth wall. But at the same time, that was the first time I saw just how many people in the room. And they were all laughing and chatting. And that's when I realized that, because sometimes when she looks crazy, it's because she'll be like, it looks like she's in a room by herself, because when she doesn't have her guests, she's doing all that cooking and prepping and stuff, and she's just talking, and she looks like she's in a room by herself, and she keeps laughing. and looking down and laughing, but nothing funny has happened.
Yeah.
Nothing remotely interesting has happened. So she looks crazy that she's in a kitchen. It looks like she's laughing at herself saying, I like to put lemon on things. Ha 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 ha. Like, that's a crazy person's act. But then I've realized that there's so much that's been cut out that everyone in the room is laughing at something else.
Yeah, they're having a conversation.
And she's joining in that conversation, but that's not being shown.
No, yeah.
So I was like, I do think that, and she does the editing. She has said that. She goes through the notes, she does the editing, she does the cuts. So, but I just feel like someone needs to come in and be like, hey, you look crazy. And you don't have to, because you're laughing with 15 other people in the room. Yeah. And you know what it's like when you're on those shoot days and, you know, when we go and do the projects and stuff like you with these people all day, you do get a little hysterical, you have in-jokes, things are funny, but we're just not seeing that.
Yeah, and it's so hard even when you're the one editing.
Yeah.
Because you know the context.
Yeah.
And that gets muddled. Like, you can't see it in fresh eyes, which is why, like, we never edit. We aren't allowed. But I do agree with that. And I wished that in some of those, like, takes where she is by herself and prepping for the guest, I wish they pulled someone from the crew to be with her.
Yeah.
Because I think that would have been so fun to watch her interact with a normal person.
I do think sometimes, I say this with love in my heart, because all of these people are so talented that it's okay that they're not TV personalities. But often she would have a really well-known chef or someone on with her, and because they're not naturals in front of the camera, she's having to do all the heavy lifting with like chatting and trying to be funny, and it's just not working. I feel like she needs like Mindy Kaling with her every episode or something like that.
Oh my God, imagine if she had Mindy Kaling.
Oh my God, that would be
episode.
incredible.
I would watch the shit out of that.
Just something like that to kind of heighten it, because I mean, Meghan Markle's very sweet, but she's not funny.
She's not funny.
Intentionally.
No.
So it kind of, I feel like that's where it kind of petered off a little bit.
Because she's trying to figure out, I think, also what type of show she wants it to be.
Yeah.
And like you said, like if it's a guest who's like a chef or someone who isn't like media facing, she has to do the heavy lifting and be all the personality.
Yeah.
But when she has Mindy Kaling or like Chrissy Teigen, like she can take a step back.
And kind of bounce off them a little bit. Yeah.
And especially people that she's actually friends with, that she knows. And she knows how they will act in front of a camera.
Yeah, exactly. I know, again, as you were saying before, there's so many little tidbits of her life when she talks about the fact that on their third date, they went camping in Botswana. Can you imagine that you're in love with a guy you think you're going to marry, and then you go and spend 5 days together in a tent?
No.
I like camping, but not with someone I'm dating.
No.
And not also in Botswana is like beautiful, but crazy.
Crazy. And like third date, I'd been like, I'm getting murdered by a prince.
Yeah. What a way to go. But also every time they gave little tidbits of their wedding, like I hadn't seen those wedding place cards before, like the table settings.
Yeah. Or even like saying how like the menu had like little bits of like where all the food came from. So her guests knew. And I was just imagine the Queen just reading. Queen's like, why am I reading?
The Queen sits down and goes to Prince Philip, like, there's a map on our table showing where all the food is from, and they're just like, get us out of here. But then like they invented like a special type of like Michelin star fried chicken to serve at the after party.
Good.
I know, it looks so good. And I was like, this is the information I want. Like, what food did you serve at the after party of your wedding? I don't even want to know why you hate the royals, although I want to know that as well. But I also just want all this behind the scenes.
Did the Queen eat fried chicken? Yes or no?
Did the Queen eat the fried chicken bites? What did she call them? The late night bites?
The late night bites, fried chicken.
Yeah. So good.
No, I don't. I think the Queen would have tapped out before the after party.
Yeah, for sure.
What a roller coaster.
I'm going to say we're not getting a third season. Well, I think she'll do something else with Netflix, but it won't be this. But again, I know they don't want to film it, but I just want a documentary of her life. I actually loved her like packing her suitcase, jumping in her car, driving herself to LA, having like that night out with her
the girls' weekend
friend.
away was fun. I like that.
Or when she's out on the boat.
Did you see though?
Yeah.
The girls' weekend away when she was like packing the baseball cap and she was like, I made this for my husband's 40th as like a joke.
Yeah.
And it was like the initials on the cap was PH for Prince Harry.
Yeah.
I loved that.
That was so good. She's like, I have so many of these and I wear them all the time.
Oh my God, I love that. She's like showing like in that way I was like, oh, you're taking the piss.
Did you think that was like a message to the royal family?
Yeah, as in like, I'm taking the piss because like we call him Prince Harry at home. I think that's what they do.
Yeah, okay, I love that. And even when she's out on the boat with the sea urchins and all that sort of stuff. And
the last episode, like where she's trying to like cook seafood.
Oh, and she's scared of the lobsters?
I genuinely thought she was going to faint at the lobsters.
She's like, oh, I'm okay with a fish. And he was just like, you crack this lobster and then you pull its head off. And she was like, ah!
He was like, and look, the lobster's saying, Meghan. Megan, please, I need to be eaten.
That's what I mean when you've got a really good co-host with you, because that chef was just like going for gold.
Oh my God, he did not care that
and
it was
he was
Meghan
narrating
Markle.
the lobster's death to her, and she was so panicking. She's like, "Oh, I'm just a bit hot. I'm going to take my cardigan off," and like leaves the shot. I was like, "No, Megan, come back. If you're going to eat the lobster, you need to watch it die.
Oh
That's
my
the
God.
rules."
And he's like, and we eat the urchins like reproductive system. And Megan's like, I think we're going to cut that out. And he's like, oh, sorry, not reproductive.
Have you had a sea urchin? They're really good.
It is the best thing I've
Yeah.
ever put in my mouth.
Me too.
It's so good.
so good. So
Maybe
when-
we should get sea urchin tomorrow.
maybe.
Mm.
Well, like in the city of
Yeah, we both live close to the fish markets.
Okay,
Let's do that.
guys,
That's
we're
a
just
plan.
making our weekend
It's
plans.
really expensive as well. And when
No,
she was
I
like, I'll
know.
take 25, I'm like, girl.
No, Netflix got a budget for this.
I was just thinking, because our last episode where she was cooking for the crew,
Yeah.
I was just imagining me being there. Like, I would have been ignoring the, like, heaving pail on my plate. Like, running to the, like, taking a full lobster, smashing it into my plate. Like,
No,
eating
that pale
sea
looks so
urchin.
good. This is why I think she just hasn't found her audience, because the people watching it are the people who want the Meghan Markle intel.
Yeah.
And I actually think people who just like cooking and lifestyle shows, I mean, obviously there's better ones out there, but it does feel like that's the market she's going into. Like when she's out on the boat and that she's
Yeah.
explaining when she's with the person who's explaining how they got the sea urchins and what they do. And I'm like, this is super interesting. But I also feel like we just don't consume content in a Netflix sense like that. Like it felt like it should be TikTok videos. Like if she put these up as little TikTok videos of like, here's how I do the fruit art, here's how I do the flower arranging, here's how you cut open a sea urchin, like people would watch the shit out of that.
She needs to get back together with Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah.
And she needs to be like, hey, I need to get some lead magnets off you. I need
Yeah.
to steal some of your audience. That's the audience she needs.
Yes.
Like the people who genuinely follow Goop, not Gwyneth Paltrow. She needs
Yeah.
that, the Goop followers.
That's so true. Well, that's our business advice to Meghan Markle.
We'll
So-
do a plan for you, Megs. Don't
yeah,
worry.
we'll send it through. More packing, less art with vegetables. So that is our review, a brutally honest review of With Love, Meghan,
I
season
think
2.
it was much nicer than our first review from season 1.
Yeah, I
We've
think
come around.
Yeah, we've come around, but also like I think the first one was maybe just a shock to our system because we just weren't expecting some of the things that happened. But this one was quite a nice watch.
Pleasant watch.
A pleasant watch.
A pleasant
but
watch.
We watched it so you don't have to. So there we go. But it is on Netflix now if you do want to watch it.
If you do, don't have
If
to.
you dare.